Thank you. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you to Your Health. I have a very tough task, and that's in 9 minutes to speak to you about one of the most incredible human machines, if you will. I'd like to speak with you about the digestive tract, how it works, how it takes in food, and how it gets energy, and how we transfer energy. So without much ado, let's go to the next slide, please. Basically, I'd like to talk about the interaction of enzymes, and you hear about enzymes, and you hear about how they work, and I'd like to talk to you about how it works in the digestive system. So we'll go over to the next slide. Basically, food is rather complex. It's a complex set of chemicals. It needs to be broken down for the intestine to handle it. The intestine is rather simple. About 90% of all the digestion that we do happens in the small intestine. And in order for the small intestine to do what it does, it has to have these very tiny finger-like projections that look very much like coral. And it's able to take these complex chemicals that have been broken down and take them and send them into the bloodstream so that we can use them. These structures are amazing, these little coral-like things. So they take care of carbohydrates, they take care of fat, they take care of protein absorption, vitamins, and minerals. So we'll go on to the next slide, if you will. And proteins are to be broken down. They're broken down to very simple components called peptides, allows them to get across the intestine. Carbohydrates are broken down into simple sugars, into glucose and maltose, and all sorts of small sugars that can get across the intestine. And when this goes awry, then you come to see me in the hospital, or you come to see a doctor like me in the hospital. So our enzymes have to work right. They have to work. It's like a symphony. All of the symphony has to be right, all of the orchestra has to play right, and when it plays right, all our digestive needs are met. So we'll go on to the very next slide, if you will. We have lots of enzymes. It starts from north, in the mouth. Saliva contains things called salivary amylase. It helps to break down glucose into simple sugars. And in the stomach, we have proteases that help to break down proteins, and protein digestion starts there. In the pancreas, just south of the stomach, you have lipases, proteases, and amylase, and trypsin, which all breaks down carbohydrate, breaks down fat, and breaks down protein. And then in the small intestine, in something called succus entericus, all the juice that comes out from the intestine has all sorts of digestive enzymes in it, which help us to complete the digestive process. In fact, 9 out of 10 things are broken down in the small bowel. We'll go on to the next slide. And so how do we absorb this thing? So it's been broken down by the enzymes. How do we get it across? So we'll go on to the next slide, because you are really what you absorb. And this schema just basically looks at all the different things. So you take away all the big molecules, all the carbohydrates, proteins, etc. What about the minerals and things like that? All of these kind of follow the same paradigm. They just get through the small intestine. They're able to be sent from the small intestine into the bloodstream. The body absorbs what it's going to use. What we don't need, we get rid of through the stool, through our sweat, and sometimes through the lungs. Next slide, please. This is a short schema. This is a very incredible machine. This machine, which runs from north to south, starts in the stomach. Actually, not very much is absorbed in the stomach. Perhaps later on tonight, when you go to the party later on tonight, the stomach will absorb, alcohol absorption starts in the stomach. I think that's something that most people know. But just as soon as food leaves the stomach, that's where the real action happens. And that's where carbohydrates, proteins, and fats are absorbed, mostly all in the small intestine. The colon, or the large bowel, basically deals with some water, some electrolytes, etc., and not much absorption happens there. This is an incredible machine. It works from the day we're born until the day that we make our transition. It doesn't take much of a break, and when things are working right, is really responsible for the way that we interact with the world, the way that we get our energy, and the way that energy is sent up to our bodies for use. So this is the way that this machine works. It's the interaction of enzymes to break down complex molecules. These complex molecules are then sent into our intestines, and the intestine then completes the job by sending it into the bloodstream, which then goes to our organs and very much serves as fuel for the rest of our bodies. It's really incredible. It's really a testament to the wonder of nature. and thanks very much for your time for sharing this with me. Thank you.